Hey guys, welcome to our final year-end wrap-up video. This year the channel was a little bit hit or miss. I didn't get a lot of the projects done I wanted to do. The simple reality is that this was just not a good year for anybody. I had a lot of stress, I had a lot of mental health issues, and it wound up taking a lot out of me, and I just didn't have the energy, the motivation to create videos the way I did. The few videos I did put out this year didn't do too hot. I also believe that I was streaming a little bit too much. The channel kind of got cannibalized by the streams, and I think that's probably what stopped getting me the views, because it's like you put out 4 or 5 videos in a week and then you don't get any views on them. YouTube's not going to want to promote that stuff. We also didn't hit the goal of the 3,000 views on a video, but that's okay. I knew that was kind of a stretch. I'm not gonna lie to you, but you know, it's honestly it's been an it's just been a difficult year. Like I said, I think a lot of people had a bad year, but with the stress of my book getting published and the publisher kind of just not doing it right, and then I was just having a lot of mental health problems this year. I actually am planning on doing something to address that so that it kind of stops happening in the future, and I can try to devote myself a little bit better to being a content creator, being a better version of myself overall. I know that that's a little bit more personal than I usually try to make these videos, but I figure I owe you guys full transparency on this. Yeah, on a lighter note, let's move on from this topic. Every year I talk about my 3 most popular videos and my 3 favorite videos of the year. Let's dive into that. My most popular video is actually one of the VODs I put out this year. I think it was part 7 of the Doom Eternal Nuzlocke, I believe, or the Ancient Gods Nuzlocke. I'm not sure why that one did 34 views, but hey. And then it's for second and third place, it's a tie between the Dresden Files ranking video I put out a week or 2 ago and this year's Halloween special of Count Orlok and Nosferatu. Or Count Orlok and Count Dracula, both at 13 views. Hilariously, I think if I include all of my videos, the one that got the most views this year was my D&D Kaiju video, which is funny. I do want to cover some more D&D stuff on this channel, but I don't think I'm going to start doing that yet. My most favorite videos I made this year, number 1 was my TMNT Anime Powers video. I wanted to get that one out way sooner, but I was just having like some really bad issues with my freaking sinuses at that point, where I was just unable to talk without sounding like I was running through a nasal like cavity. So that one took forever to get out. I spent a lot of time on it though. I went back and forth about whether or not to include April O'Neil. At one minute I was like I wanted to, then I didn't want to, and then I finally ultimately decided not to, because there's just every iteration of her is so different in comparison to the Ninja Turtles. So I ultimately thought it wouldn't fit too well, because you can't come up with one power that fits April O'Neil as a character, because April O'Neil as a character, especially in the last like 10, 15-ish years, has changed so drastically. My second favorite video this year was definitely the Halloween special I did comparing Count Dracula and Count Orlok. That actually, that has to do with something I was writing. I was debating on which vampire lore to use now that Nosferatu is in the public domain. And it was also heavily inspired by the Robert Eggers 2024 remake of Nosferatu, which I just can't stop glazing so much. It is a fantastic movie. If you haven't seen it, you need to go see it, because it is great. And then the third one was my Dresden Files ranking. I just had a lot of fun with that one. It was good to talk about a series that I haven't talked about in a while, and finally make good on a promise I made years ago on my channel. Looking forward into the future, I'm actually going to say right now, I have a lot of videos that I plan on getting up. As of right now, I'm currently going through all of JoJo's for a small series of videos I want to make before part 7 comes out. I just started Diamond is Unbreakable yesterday, Or not Diamond is Unbreakable. What's part 4? Is it Diamond? I think part 4 is Diamond is Unbreakable. I don't know why I'm bugging out on that, but yeah, I just started part 4 yesterday. I'm gonna start working on getting those videos up before too long. I also have a few different ideas for some Ben 10 themed content. There's a Ben 10 comic that's going to be starting in February, I believe. So I would want to get a couple videos up for that, as well as some smaller videos here and there I've been working on and thinking about. Another thing as well, you're going to notice over the next couple weeks that some of the live streams and some of the different Let's Plays I used to do are going to be disappearing from the channel. They'll still be, I'm going to coordinate them off into an unlisted playlist, but ultimately I'm going to be starting like a locker live channel or whatever I wind up calling it to kind of put all of my just uncut gameplay and whatnot on there. I'm gonna be done. I'm kind of done with streaming for right now, so a lot of that's not gonna get updated for a while. I do want to go do streaming at some point once we get a little bit bigger of a community, because it's fun when there's people there, but when you're just doing it yourself, I think that also is what was affecting my mental health a little bit, because just doing it solo with no one to talk to and not getting any views on it was starting to drag me down a little bit. I'm not going to be doing it for a while. I've already made up my mind on what this year's Halloween video will be, so that'll be fun. I have started making the list for this year's Kaiju Live videos, and I've also made a list of my next D&D, or not D&D, my next Yu-Gi-Oh! Weird rankings, because that one was another one I enjoyed making too. I made that one on a whim, the Kaiju, like ranking Yu-Gi-Oh! Kaijus based on how much I want them to destroy my city thing. I made that on a whim. That was fun. I do have one more announcement as well. I'm going to be getting help from one of my friends. Ideally, the first video will be going up by the end of this month, but if not, it'll be going up in February. It's just hard to coordinate schedules right now, but we have a video series I wanted to do that I've wanted to do for a while, but I couldn't find anyone to do it until me and him finally met. And it's basically mythical characters and what D&D class they would be, right? It's stupid, but it's something I've wanted to do for a while, and I didn't want to do it where it was just me. Like I said, ideally the first video will be up by the end of the month, but if not, we're going to definitely try for at least February. There were a couple videos this year that I wanted to make that didn't get made for whatever reason. The first one was the K-pop Demon Hunter sound ranking video, or song ranking video. It was about 10 minutes. I went over all of the songs on the album, and I ranked them. And it didn't seem to be what YouTube wanted. I changed it around. I spent 3 weeks on this video, editing it, changing it, moving it around, doing different things to make it try to get past the censors. And every time I uploaded it, it just got blocked. And it sucks. I loved that movie. Obviously, that was a lot of people's movie for this year. There was a huge push to get it nominated for the Oscars when they were trying to say that it wasn't eligible. I loved it. A fantastic movie. If you're curious what my ranking wound up being, last place was Soda Pop, then it was Takedown, then it was Golden, then it was What It Sounds Like, then it was How It's Done, Free, and Your Idol is number 1. Banger songs, every one of them. It's just my personal preference leads me to some of the more aggressive or emotional songs than some of the more poppy songs. I even have a shirt for this. Like this shirt here. I bought this shirt off of a website I found on Facebook. It was really good. I love that movie. I'm so mad I didn't get to get that video up, but YouTube just absolutely freaking screwed me on that. So that was unfortunate. The second video that wound up not getting made was a review of Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. I liked the movie. I really did. I kind of expected a little bit more from it because it's Guillermo del Toro and it's Frankenstein. Guillermo del Toro directed my favorite movie of all time in Pan's Labyrinth, and Frankenstein is just an absolute classic of the gothic horror genre. So it was a little bit jarring, where my only takeaway was this is a very adequately made movie. It's very good, but there's nothing about it that stood out to me. And in the video I made, I didn't I felt like I was coming across too negative, so I ultimately wound up scrapping it. I guess a little behind the scenes peek, there were some videos I tried to make this year that just didn't wind up getting made for whatever reason. I like to end these videos off by talking about a goal for this year. Last year's goal was to hit 3,000 views on a video. We did not succeed on that. I'm going to actually drop that down a little bit. I want to break the 2,500 mark on a video. I feel like that's probably a little bit less to ask for than an extra like 800 views on one of my most popular videos, which still sits at 2.2k. Like I said, I have a lot of videos in the pipeline I'm going to work on. I want to be more consistent with this. I don't want to just let my mental state kind of keep me from doing the things that I enjoy, because despite how I might sound in some of the videos, I do actually enjoy making the videos. That's not the problem. It's just like bringing myself to making them when my brain is kind of a scrambled mess is a lot harder than I really would like for it to be. So, yeah, how was your guys' year? Did everyone else have a good 2025, or was your year also pretty rough? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.